Hello, 8th graders. All right, you guys have done 1-point perspective cubes in the past with me. Today you're going to learn how to do 2-point perspective cubes. So basically it's going to be the same thing that you start with. I'm going to use a straight edge since some of you I know don't have rulers. Remember, all you do is you fold your piece of paper, whatever the type of paper you're using, you fold twice. And the reason why I'm saying the type of paper you're using, that way I know it's going to line up. It's going to be the same size. Okay, and I put a little bit of highlighter on the side or on the top, and then on the sides I put a little bit of blue colored pencils so that it'll stand out against the background of the white paper. All right, approximately the middle of your paper, you're going to draw your straight line across. Remember, your ruler or your straight edge needs to be lined up with the edge of the paper to make sure that you're drawing a straight line. It's important. Don't draw it too dark either, guys. Remember, there's parts of it that might have to be erased. Okay, so there's my horizon line. Remember, the horizon line is where the ground meets the sky. Now, I know in the past we've done this and we've put one dot in the middle. We're not doing that. This time, you're going to put 2 dots. We're going to put them towards the edge of your paper. 1 dot here, 1 dot here. Okay, because it's 2-point perspective. We're still going to draw 7 cubes just like we did with our 1-point perspective, but now we're going to start them differently. The way we start these cubes is we have to draw the corner that's closest to us. Okay, if you're looking at a box, I don't have a box near me that I could use as my example, but if you're looking at a box, the one corner is going to be closest to you, and that's how we're doing this. So we're going to start with the cube in the center, okay, at the bottom. So all I'm going to do is take my straight edge, line it up with the bottom of my paper, and draw a straight line. You do not want it to go all the way up to your horizon line, and you don't want it to go all the way off your paper, okay? So just approximately the middle, just a little, about 1-inch long line. You don't have to measure, it doesn't have to be perfect. From the top of this line, I'm going to go to each of my vanishing points. So I'm going to start right here, put the one edge of my straight edge on the vanishing point, and then move the other edge to the top of that line. If it's easier for you to do it this way so you can see your whole line, you can. So from the vanishing point to the top of your line. And then you need to hold it really well while you draw your straight line so it doesn't move. Okay? Don't draw it too dark. Remember, you're going to have to erase parts of it. Okay? So now I'm going to do the same thing from the top, going over to this vanishing point. So I want to slide it down until it's right on the top of that line and make sure it's right on my vanishing point. I'm going to go from my point to the top of the line. Again, I'm not going to draw it that dark because I do not want to be able to, I don't want to see a shadow of my line after I erase. I'm going to do the same thing from the bottom. I'm going to go from the bottom over to my left vanishing point and the bottom over to my right vanishing point. Okay. If it was perfect, it wouldn't cross here. Because what's that saying? It's saying that the vanishing point's right there. So I'm not going to be picky, but I just want you to know if you see that, that means it's not perfect. Okay? Mine's not perfect. Alright. So from this point, the bottom of my box, or you could do it this way so that you can make sure you can see it, and that's fine. From your point to the bottom of your line. Okay. Don't draw your points too big either. I drew mine big enough so that you all can see, but I don't want this huge circle because then that's allowing a lot of spaces to be coming from that point. We want it to be more specific. Alright, now the next part that we have to do, okay, right now this is one side of your box, this is the other side. We still have not done the top of the box. Okay, the way we're going to get that though is we have to draw our parallel lines in first. So I need to end the side of my box. So I'm going to line up my straight edge with the bottom, okay, so that I know that I'm drawing a parallel line, and from the top of that line to the bottom, I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Make sure this is lined up. Okay. So line it up with the bottom of your paper. Hold your straight edge down and connect those two lines. Okay? You can erase these lines now if you want. Right now we still haven't drawn in the top of the box, but you can erase your guidelines for now. And then I'll show you how to get the top of your box. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video. I don't want to do anything with editing where I have to slow it down or anything like that, because then I won't be able to talk over it. And I haven't quite mastered voiceovers yet. Okay. Alright, so the next step. Now we need to get the top face of our box. Remember, the squares that make up a cube are called faces. Okay? So we've got the left face and we have the right face, and now we need to get the top face. The way we're going to do that is we're going to go to the opposite vanishing point. So from this corner over here, from the top left corner, we're going to go to the right vanishing point. So let me line it up from the point to that corner. I'm going to hold my straight edge down so that it doesn't slip on me and doesn't move. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing from my top right corner. I'm going to go over to my left vanishing point. That's how I'm going to get that top face of my cube. And remember, a cube, and you can actually stop. You don't have to go all the way to the point on this one, because I know that it's going to end there, so all I'm doing is creating more to erase if I don't. So I just stopped right there. Okay, so now I'm going to erase this last guideline that I have, and we're left with our first cube. 2-point perspective cube, because we have 2 vanishing points. Okay, we're going to make 2 more down here, we're going to make 3 more up here, and 1 on the line. So we're going to go with the left one now. Make sure I'm still in view for you. I'm going to do this, start the same way. Start the same way with your vertical line. Okay, and then you're going to go from the top of your vertical line to each of your vanishing points. So I'm going to go from this one. Make sure I'm on my line. And I'm going to go from this one. Let me erase that little extra. Okay, and I'm going to go from this one. Make sure I get to the line. I'm being specific because I don't want to have like an overhang on one side of it. That won't look as good. Okay. If it's in a way that it's going to go through your box, you don't have to draw the line all the way across. You know where, as long as it's going to go to that point, which, see, I'm a little bit off, but if this was an architecture drawing, you don't want to be off at all, because it could be, you know, big problems. Okay, so you can see with this line, it's going to wind up going through this box. So I'm going to stop it. I'm not going to draw all the way through, because then I might mess up this cube. So I'm going to just draw it like that, because I know that I know my side's not going to be that long anyway. All right, so then this one I'm going to draw all the way. Okay. All right, so I know this looks weird. It's okay, it'll be fine. Now we're going to draw the vertical lines that end the sides, right? So line up your paper or your ruler with the edge of your, line up your straight edge with the edge of your paper, or your ruler with the edge of your paper on both sides, and draw your parallel lines. Okay, now you can erase any guidelines that you had. But don't forget, this cube is not done yet. We still need that top face. Okay, so erasing. And this is why it's important not to draw too dark at first. Because if you draw it too dark, you're not going to be able to erase it, or I'm still going to be able to see it. And it's not going to look as nice. Alright, get rid of all my little eraser pieces. Alright, now I need the top face of this. Mine looks more like a rectangular prism, and that's fine. Doesn't have to be a perfect cube. But so I'm going to, from this corner, from the top right corner, I'm going to go to my left vanishing point. So let's do that. Make sure it's lined up. From that corner. And I know it's not going to go farther than that, so I'm just going to stop so I don't have as much to erase. And then for this one, line it up with that vanishing point. From the top left corner, I'm going to go to my right vanishing point. And remember, this one I don't need to draw the line all the way across either. I just have to connect the lines. Okay? And I just have to erase this little tail. And we're good to go. There's our cube number 2. So now, cube number 3, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Straight line up and down. Okay, I'm not going to talk as much because I've already said it twice what to do. And this video is already taking a while. So let's do from the bottom. Both vanishing points. Okay, and now I'm going to end it. So this line here, straight up and down. This line here, straight up and down. Okay, now I can erase my guidelines. If I accidentally erase the corner of my box, I can draw that back in. Just be careful that it stays nice and straight. You don't want your box to look like it was bent. Top left over to the right. And I'm only going to go as far as I need to. And then top right over to the left. Connect the lines. Erase the excess. And we've got 3 of our 7 boxes done. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is the one that goes on the line. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because honestly the ones that are up here are going to be the same as these. You're just going to turn the paper over and do it again. So for this one, draw your line so that half of it is over the top and half is over the bottom of your horizon line. Okay, now from the bottom, go to each vanishing point. Make sure your straight edge is on both the bottom and on the vanishing point. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing from the top. This one you're only going to see 2 of the faces. So that's why it's going to look a little bit different, but that's okay. It's because it's right at eye view. So you're only going to see 2 faces. You're not going to see the top or the bottom because it's right on the line. Okay, so how you're going to end this, you're going to draw your horizontal, not horizontal, sorry, your vertical lines going up to end the sides. So one here, and then you're going to do, and you're going to do one on this side. And remember, line it up with the bottom because you don't want it to be, you know, like this or like this. It's not going to look as good. Okay, it needs to be straight up and down. So now inside the box, inside the cube, I am going to erase my horizon line because my cube is not see-through. So I need to make sure I erase that. Draw, make sure my side lines and my corners stay nice and sharp. Okay, but erase the horizon line inside your cube. Okay. All right. Now what do I need to do? I need to erase the guidelines that I made for that. So the one over here. Erase, erase. This is why if you don't draw that dark, you're going to be okay, because you can always go over things darker, but sometimes if you draw too dark, you can't really erase. And since you've been warned a lot about that, I'm not going to really take that too much of an excuse. That'll be part of your craftsmanship. If I can still see really deep shadows. Like a little bit is okay, but I shouldn't be able to see a lot of it. Alright, so same thing for the top, okay? You can either do it from the top or you can flip it over so that it's the same as it was that you already drew. Okay, I'm going to draw it just like this so that I don't have to move it. But line from the top corner, I'm going to go to each vanishing point. So I'm going to go lightly to that one, and then I'm going to go to this one. I'm drawing this faster because we're coming up on 15 minutes and I don't like my videos to go too much over that. So that, and that. Okay, straight line up and down to end the one side. Straight line up and down to end your other side. Okay, I'm going to erase my guidelines, and then I'm going to go to opposite ends for the bottom face, because since this is on the top, we're seeing the bottom face. Okay, we're not going to see the face up here. I don't want you to do this up here. Like, I don't want you to just draw this box and transfer it up here, because that's not the way it would be. If it's in the same perspective, then we're going to see the bottom face, not the top face. So as you can see, I'm going to the opposite vanishing points to end the box. Okay, erase your little excess tail, and boom, you've got a box. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the one right here. Got my little line. I'm going to go from the top of my line to each vanishing point. I'm not going all the way because I know I don't need to. As long as I know I'm on the vanishing point and on the top of that line, then I'm good. Okay, you're going to end it. Straight line up and down. I make sure that my straight edge is on the edge of my paper, so I know that the line will be parallel to the corner line of my box, because that's very important. Make sure, kind of switching it around. There we go. Straight line. Erase the excess on either side. Erase and erase. I'm going to have to draw my corners back in. Be very careful. If you can't do this without a straight edge and have it continue to be straight, don't do it. Even on mine, you see if I mess up, it's going to look bad. So you don't want that. Okay. Like, I don't like the way that looks, but I'm going to live with it for now. Alright, so from this corner, I'm going to go over to this side because I'm trying to put in that bottom face. And from this corner, I'm going to connect the lines right there. I'm going to erase my excess, and now I've got my 6 box. I'm doing my last one now. So the last one over here, straight line up and down. Straight line. Okay. From the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to end it. Make sure I'm on the edge of my paper so that I know it's going to be a straight line. Straight. Straight. Erase the excess. And now I got to go to the opposite sides to do the bottom face of the cube. So, one. And the last one. And that's it. Just erase your little tail and you're done. Take a picture of it and submit it for checkpoint number 1.